DJI has shaken up the drone world for the past couple of years, and the release of the Mini 2 is evidence that they are devoted to making improvements no matter how big or small. Let's be for real, they could have just used the Mavic Mini and the Air 2 as their low and medium end aircraft, but to make improvements to their lighter drones that doesn't even have to be registered speaks a lot to enthusiasts. So if you're in the market for a new drone and you don't know where to look, then you're looking in the right direction. If you're looking to buy a drone for a loved one, then this is a great head start. I wish this had been my first drone because it would have made my life much easier and the experience would have been much more fun. You can buy the Mavic Mini and it'll serve you well. But for just a few more dollars, you could get more bang for your buck. Some of the differences are increased stability, 4K camera, stronger motors, improved connection with OcuSync 2, and a slight increase in flight time. It still stays under the 249 grams and utilizes a more friendly and sturdy remote control. One thing I see in the future is smart controller compatibility. So if you have more than one drone by DJI that can be used with the smart controller, then it'll be nice to have just one remote for all of your drones. So keep an eye out for that. But back to this drone. Many reviews provide tutorials on the rules, how to operate, and unboxings, but many people also just want to see what's entailed when grabbing a drone and going outside. Before we do this though, I can't reiterate how important following all safety guidelines and rules are. So if you're interested in buying a drone, just remember that there are many things to prepare before launch. I've been flying drones for a few years now and I have registered every one of my drones, and I'm also very familiar with the area that I'm flying in. So you don't just get to grab your remote control and go outside. There's a lot you have to do. And there's reasons for all of those tutorials. So become familiar with your local laws and make sure that you understand the capabilities of the drone when you're flying it. For instance, this does not handle wind as it would a larger drone like the Air 2 or the Mavic 2 Pro or any of the Inspire series or Phantom series. This is a very light drone, so at 249 grams, the wind can capture this and move it around a lot easier. So you have to keep an eye on stuff like that. So it helps to become very familiar with the conditions that you're going to be flying your drone in. You don't want to fly it while it's raining either. It doesn't handle water or weather very well. Also, one thing you want to keep in mind is compatibility with your tablet or your smart device, your smartphones. Make sure that it works with the remote control that comes with your Mini 2, because I've seen a lot of people very frustrated at buying their drone and getting it outside and realizing that they can't use it because they have to go purchase a new smart device to use with the remote and or return their drone. More times than not though, they just find some other way to hook up to the remote control and keep their drone because they're just so much fun. But with fun comes responsibilities. Now, if you're buying this as a gift for someone for Christmas, kind of do some research to figure out what kind of phone they have and make that decision for them, because it would really suck that Christmas Day they get this gift and they can't use it at all. And nothing's open on Christmas, so there's no going to Best Buy or any of the Walmart or any other places to buy a smart device to work with this remote. So they're just going to be staring at a paperweight for a few days until they can get into a store. So with all of that being said, let's take our drone, batteries charged, your remote control with your smart device attached, and let's get outside. Okay, so it's a little bit windy out here, and I'm just not willing to risk it. So I'm gonna have to try again a little bit later. Didn't realize the wind had picked up so much. Oh well. This actually shouldn't be an oh well moment, should it? I think I'm gonna wait an hour and I'm gonna show you what this thing can do in the wind. So let's go check it out. All right, so it's golden hour now. It should look a little bit better. I'm gonna show you what this thing can do in the wind. It's better than the regular Mavic Mini, but I'm gonna go ahead and take it up in the air and I'm gonna bring it up to the camera so you can actually see it fight the wind, because they have improved it greatly. And we're gonna wait for a good gust of wind to come through. Go ahead and stand up here. There we go. you will be able to hear the wind. And wait, here comes a good gust now, I think. Yeah. Look at it. And that's probably about a 10 to 15 mile per hour gust. And it's fighting it pretty well. I'm pretty impressed. The regular Mavic Mini would not handle that well. Now that's me driving a little bit. I'm trying to make sure it doesn't drift into us. Oh, here comes a really good gust of wind here. And didn't quite hit us as hard as I thought it was going to. The trees are going crazy right now. That's a very strong gust of wind. See, that wouldn't be fun for this little guy. You get up there and you just risk him being taken away. And you have to put it in sport mode to get him to come back. All right, here comes a very good gust of wind. Look at it fighting. Fight, little guy, fight, little guy. Look at you go. Pretty impressive, because the GPS coordinates are actually keeping it locked in position. And the motors, being that they're a little bit stronger than the regular Mavic Mini, will fight it, but it'll utilize a little bit more battery power by fighting like that. But all in all, very impressive that it stayed put as long as it did. And then as an example of the wind blowing like that, I want to go ahead and hit record on the video here. And I'm going to show you when the wind hits this thing, how well it stabilizes the footage. As you can tell, I'm not doing anything. I'm letting the wind push it around. But the ability to, look at it, fight so hard. That gimbal, oh, look at that. I mean, it's a really good gust right there. It's a good 15, 20 miles per hour. Try to sneak away from me here. It's doing pretty well. It's only traveled maybe about 8 to 10 inches from its starting position, so doing really well. Wow, look at that. That was a hefty breeze. And it's doing extremely well. And then that gimbal action just looks. They did such a good job with this drone, and all of their drones. I mean, they've mastered this gimbal. Here comes a very good gust of wind. Define good. If I drop everything, I'm just going to have to bring this thing to the ground. And back into position. It's fighting. Alright, so that's it. This is a good reason to pick this one over the Mavic Mini, that's for certain. Okay, this is day 2, and I've got the Mavic Mini. I've got my phone, I've got the remote controller, and I'm going to put the drone down for a second, show you how easy it is to just connect it to your phone. So I'd like to grab it like this, and then I'll just lift up on it and it'll drop right into place. This is the iPhone 12. Turn it on. I like that it doesn't impede any of the stuff on the screen here. So now I can go to my DJI Fly app and open that up, turn on the remote, press once, hold twice. Same for the remote control, press one, hold twice, wait for it to start powering up, set it down, and wait for a connection. Now, we're already connected. It says IMU calibration required. So, that's a very simple thing to do. I'm kind of glad that it happened now. And let's go ahead and calibrate it. So, it's asking us to calibrate. I'm going to hit start. Place the aircraft on a flat, dry surface as shown. Okay, now place aircraft on a flat, dry surface as shown. And I did just that. Now we'll move it around to the other side. and upright.
Love you.
Love you too. And on its back. Calibration successful. It's still a little windy today like it was in the beginning portion of the video, but not as bad, but it can still get a little hairy. So I would suggest for your first flight, try not to take this thing up in the air until it's like extremely calm, until you're comfortable with what you're doing, because if not, you know, and it starts to pull away from you and you're not comfortable enough to compensate for that by either going into sport mode to turn the motors up a little bit higher and bring it back to you, or compensate for the wind because you've lost visual sight, which you should never do, then just wait a little bit, and I'm gonna go ahead and take it up for you because I would like to show you this before, you know, the year's over with. Looking good. I'm also going to hit record on the drone's camera, and we're going to go ahead and get some flight around the house at least. So here we go. Very simple. Just going to circle around a little bit just to give you a short taste of what you might be seeing when you finally get up in the air. You get way up in there. Now, maximum height is 400 feet. So I'm going to take it to 400 feet, which I'm not crazy about because the wind is going to be so much stronger up there. But I'm just going to stay up there for a second, and then I'm going to bring it back down. But there, maximum altitude reached at 394 feet. Now, go ahead and look around here. Woo! All right. I can feel the wind. After a while, you become familiar enough with it that you'll start to recognize when it's not doing what you tell it to do. And we're way up in the sky right now. And we're flying. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and come down a little bit. Alright, sorry about the abrupt change. But there's my house there with where the pool is. And I'm going to hover across the top of my house, and I'm just going to let it sit there for a second at 300 feet. And I'm going to show you how this thing can move. See, I'm punching the stick straight forward, but it's drifting to the right. You see that? Strong wind warning. That's what I'm talking about. Now I'm coming down to 90 degrees. There we go. So, wow. This is not responding. This is not responding very well at all. Which is a good thing, because it's not flying away, so it's compensating. I am punching the stick straight forward, and it feels sluggish, because even that slight little bit of wind up there, look at it. I'm done moving, and it isn't. So we're going to go ahead and bring it down. One thing you'll also want to know not to do is overcompensate. Man, that was a joke. Now we're back down here where there's not a whole lot of wind. and we're on the ground. Goodness gracious. So I told you this thing was a beast. And if you got one of these for yourself or for someone else, you really can't go wrong, especially for the price tag on this thing. And for just a little bit extra over the Mavic Mini, you get all of these fun-packed features in this thing, and it's probably going to be the drone to beat for 2021 for the price tag and its capabilities. So if you wouldn't mind, use my affiliate link down below. Amazon Associates gives me a little bit of commission. Doesn't cost you anything extra, but it always helps out the channel, and it helps me keep bringing some of these tech reviews to you. And if I don't see you before Christmas, please be safe for the holiday season. I'm probably going to be very busy next week. I have my very first wedding coming up, and I'm going to have some come along and film the process, just like you have seen me do in some of my other photo shoots. I have someone else come by, film me doing my job, and being that this is my very first one, I am extremely nervous. So please wish me luck, and if you have any questions about anything you saw here about this drone or anything else on the channel, please leave a comment down below. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, notification bell, and I'll see you as soon as I can. Have a great day.